we all seen some pretty big companies called bankrupt in the last few years, right, in the cannabis space. But internally within the industry, 2 years before they went bankrupt, we all knew they were going there because we all knew we could see their movements. Like, what the f- are you guys doing, dude?
And now, introducing the champion. All right, it's time.
Is it rolling?
Yeah.
All right. I want to talk about this though. So what? I want to talk about you got smoked or what? And you got stem cells?
With the stem cells?
Yeah.
I mean, it was just all the years of like
Yeah.
constant, you guys are former skaters. It's like the impact
Yeah.
that was already wearing on my back. And then all the driving up and down from Orange County to Humboldt to Trinity, back down. And then I wouldn't just go up there and pick up real fast. I would go up there and then spend a day or two driving around to every little farm, spend time with them, get to know them, pick up, and then build that network of farmers up there. And, I was averaging, I think, 48 trips a year.
Holy shit.
So I basically took we'll leave on the day after Christmas. We'll leave, make a run real quick, shit like that. But I think years of that, and then I had a little injury, and that little injury it was just a spiral down, it just.
And then not using your body. That's what happened to me. Like when I started working full time, like I stopped skating and I'm just sitting at a desk and sitting in my car. And that's when my body got weak, and it's just all those injuries just started compounding on me. And now I have to work out just to feel okay.
Yeah. Sitting in the car for 20 hours straight.
Yeah.
Dude.
And then, I was just talking to my wife, we're going for a walk the other day, and I'm like, dude, I'm so happy I can even walk this far and we can do this and imagine what we used to do. And I think we're winding the clock. The longest we ever drove straight on a run was 37 hours.
Damn.
Nonstop. The longest I drove straight solo was 21. I just went 21 straight hours, just adrenaline rush, picking up weed, dropping off cash, picking up weed, just going.
Damn.
I went from I think we started the day at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I ended at basically midnight, 1 a.m. or something like that. I called it quits.
Crazy.
And then my wife took over. She drove for another 6-7 hours and got us home.
This is all over the state?
Yeah. Basically, I would say 90% of our farms lie within the triangle. Okay. So our distro mostly focuses on small farms. I think our largest farm maybe has a few acres of canopy.
Okay.
But they're still mom and pop, no investors. It's all them doing it. And for us as a distro, we just feel like it's easier to connect with them because, we're small business owners, we're real humans, and it's easy to connect with them. We're not a number, right? Mm-hmm. And we see their struggles, they see our struggles, and then we can work together, and I think having that trust and that bond with the small farmer, especially up there, is what kept us afloat in these hard times. And us knowing the struggle of those small farmers too has kept them afloat. I would say about 70% of the farms that we were working with before this last couple of years of it slowly sliding down has survived. So that's not bad.
That's not bad at all.
We slimmed our margins to make it work during hard times. They slimmed their margins when it got a little bit better to give us a little bit more to help us out and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's cool.
But we work together. It's easy.
Yeah.
It's I'm the owner of our company, and I won't deal with any farm brokers. Mm-hmm. I deal with the farm owners direct, right? It's it's easier. If there's a problem, which in this industry, there's always little hurdles and stuff that you got to get over, or decisions you got to make. And I don't like making those decisions without the farmer. So it's easier for me as an owner and them as the owner to get on the phone and be like, yo, this is what's happening. What should we do?
You have a partner. You have a legitimate partnership.
Yeah.
For you to just think you can make a decision.
Yeah. So we won't sell their flower without their permission. As long as it's within the price range that we talked about, for sure we're selling it, right? Mm-hmm. But if it goes below that, we call them, we make sure it's okay, go over the deal points and, see what we should do, the temperature of the market and stuff. But other than that, we try to fucking just give them a fair shake and just work with each other, like real partnerships. Because in reality of it all, distribution's forced. The distribution segment of our industry is kind of forced into it because of regulations. It's not needed, but it's forced, and that's the game. So if that's the game, that the rules of the game that we're dealt with, then let's work with the small farmers and us other small players in the industry and see if we can build our little network of good homies and keep ourselves afloat. I mean, dude, you've seen it in action sports. You've seen it in other industries where it's kind of like, there's a little group of people that just help each other out. And they usually survive.
It's all niche, man.
Yeah,
And it's keeping it small.
Yeah,
and then we can segue into trade shows, but let's do a little intro while we're
Yeah,
here.
for sure.
Yeah.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the High Rise Podcast. This week we got Tran, one of the founders of Network Show,
Goodfellas Group.
Distro,
Yeah.
a bunch of other dope shit. Thanks for coming through.
Yeah, thank you for having me, man.
Yeah, no, for sure. We've been following Network for, 2 years now? 3 years? How long has it been out?
2 years. So
2
this
years.
was this coming September will be our third show.
Damn, crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like, we're trying to do it annually, but it looks like we might have to go into 2 because we're just having a lot of success, and all of our exhibitors and all of our attendees, the retailers, they're just asking for it to be more,
For sure.
which is awesome. It's a true blessing that we have the support of the
problem.
industry. They're supporting us, the show, and they like it, and it shows that our formula is working. So,
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's been dope to see the quick growth. It's like pretty crazy from the first show till now. Seems like you have pretty much most of the industries like attending.
Yeah, it's pretty good, man. It's really great. I think when we first started, everyone thought we were a little crazy. Like, wow, this concept's going to be really tough. There's no music performance. You're not selling a ticket. You're denying everybody who's going to come. I'm like, just license people. That's all we need. They're not going to come. Literally, no. First show, we had I think 1,500 people show up from the licensed industry.
Yeah.
And this last show, we had little over 2,300 people show up, right?
Okay.
And we're expecting about 3,000 people this next show in September. And it's all industry people, and it's great. Because, I'm a distro in this industry, and I feel like there's just no show where it just really gets to the core of a brand and the retailer connecting. And I think that's we're just talking weed in the process of the weed growth, right? That's the seed. Those are the two. One's the seed, one's the pollen. They need to start it all. And then the trickle down effect of where everyone else lies, the distributors, the marketers, the salespeople, all that else will fall into place once those two connect first, right? Those are the most important thing. Everything stems from that, right? When the brand and the retailer connects, that trickles all the way down line, all the way to the farmer.
Yeah, and it's just creating an environment for those collisions,
Yeah.
for those people to be just literally network.
Yeah. So that's why we created the show, because we felt like we needed to clear the room, right? We needed to clear the room, just put the brands and the retailers in the room, shut the door, let them work it out. And when they come out, they'll tell us how things are going and what we should do. Right?
Hell yeah.
Is it something you had been thinking about for a while before starting to launch it?
Yeah. Probably about 2 years.
Got it. So
And
you
it
kind of had the
also took
idea
a long
brewing.
time too. It took a long time to get the permit, to convince the fire department to let us do it and all that stuff here in LA.
That's been the biggest problem, right?
Yeah,
For-
that's the
for
biggest problem. Finding a
people
venue
trying
that
to
was
throw
also
shows.
okay with it too. That's also a huge thing. Not every venue is okay with just weed being there, right?
On-site consumption.
And there's
huge thing.
yeah, and there's and I understand the venue standpoint. They're so used to other cannabis events where it's more consumers there, and it's just a big smoke sesh, right? Which is nothing wrong with that. That's awesome. That's part of our culture. That's part of our community, and those things need to exist. But they're so used to that, they're just thinking it's that, right?
Right.
So for them to take on a B2B, and it's different. They don't understand it, right? It's like one of the first. So we're lucky. The venue we have now, Optimus Studios, they're super awesome. They're weed friendly. They understand it. It's actually a creative studio,
Crazy creative studio.
right? It's a beautiful venue, and it does great, and they're understanding of it. So yeah, it's fucking phenomenal.
That place is rad. I remember, I don't know if it was the llast one, but I remember like chilling in the little like back area, and like Snoop Dogg was like filming some shit next door or whatever.
yeah.
He was like peeking over the fence, like it was pretty funny.
So that just shows you like what that studio is capable of.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, as we're doing the prepping for the trade shows and utilizing the venue, we're there all the time making measurements and getting ideas for what we should do. And we're seeing them film things, right? And it's crazy because we see them film it, and then like 3 months later, I see the commercial. And I'm like, what? That was not even close to what I saw happening, right?
Yeah,
but
magic.
somehow digitally, and the editors and all of them, the creative people,
Magic, dude.
Snoop Dogg's on a fucking island, you know, and somewhere. But he
He's
was
in
just
this
there.
room. He's just
Yeah.
in this room
He
on the
was
other
just in
side of
there.
the trade show. Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, so we're super blessed. The venue's super expensive to book out, but they let us do it. So they
Yeah.
clear everything. Every employee moves all their desks, all their personal stuff. They clear it all out for us, which is, you know, a blessing. Name another studio that's going to kick their employees out for us.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty rare
all
to
those are
find.
offices. Those are all offices.
Yeah.
Like every little cubby, every little like shared space is just one workspace.
So
And
when
it all
you go
gets
there on
cleaned
the
up.
normal, like outside of the trade show, you just see all kinds of creators in there, graphic design, filmers, fucking all kinds of people just doing their thing, right? And it's awesome. I mean, that's why the
Sick
venue's
space.
so awesome, man.
Yeah, no, that place is rad.
Yeah, you can like kind of feel the energy when you're in there. You know, like the residual energy from the creativity and
like a
everything.
many
that's,
ramp,
like
and
going on.
just like
Yes.
random little cool shit.
Every
like,
corner
oh,
you
yeah.
turn, it's just like, whoa, this is crazy. And then add the activations of all the brands that are popping up, like Gelato making some crazy shit to walk through. And, you know, everybody's, you had the live podcast last time, which was awesome. And
The little sections really makes it feel intimate and gives them different vibes. And the venue itself is just like a good foundation for all the brands to kind of give a more professional look, right? I think in the cannabis space, we're used to sessions and stuff where it's just like, hey, you know, you got pop up an easy up, you got to be able to shut that shit down real fast, boogie out of here in 15 minutes type of deal. Here, you're starting to see the brands really tell their story, right? And that's what's fucking awesome, right? They're building the booth, they're telling their story, tell what they're about, and it's awesome. Like the first show, I think we probably had like 20% of people build out a little bit. It was pretty still pipe and drape. And then this last show, I would say is probably like 50-50. And then this next show is a lot of people are building out. Right? It's just not your normal, here's a tablecloth and some product.
same venue.
Yeah, same
Yeah,
venue.
Okay.
We're looking to expand, but you know, obviously we have to work with the city and everything and figure out a venue that can work and that the city is okay with and everything. Yeah.
I mean, it's a great location. Like, obviously, like parking's probably the biggest issue, that entire space. But for what it is, where it's located, it's literally like 1 block from LAX. You know, it's like right in the mix. Great area, around a bunch of studios, like warehouses and stuff. You can sesh, consume. Everything's so chill.
It's fucking great that it's right next to LAX.
Right next to LAX.
Like-
Could be closer.
People literally fly in and fly out in the same day. You know, a lot of people don't because they want to stick around for the after parties because the after parties are dope.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys threw a fucking great
Oh, we threw
Yeah, that
one
was
of
a
the
fun
after
one,
parties
yeah.
last.
right?
last
So it's
show.
like, you know, a lot of people want to stick around. And that's our goal, right? Our goal is to build a week, basically. And that's the big goal. It's not just a trade show because I'm always a firm believer that your trade show experience, right, goes beyond just the trade show floor, right? It's the after parties, where you eat dinner, who you with. That's why it's like, always reminds me of an old school, like, agenda days,
ASR
SIA,
days.
ASR, right? Where it wasn't just about the trade show, which it was, right? You did great business, But it's also, dude, I get to see my homie from Switzerland, my distro from France and Japan. We get to go to dinner party.
And you're all gonna go to House of Blues and see Dilated Peoples, or you're gonna go to the
Yeah.
DGK party and see Ghostface, like with those homies. So
Yeah.
there's like so many things to do. And then, oh shit, just stop by this, just walking through downtown, and you stop by a bar and there's like 10 homies sitting on the patio. You
Yeah,
stop
it's
chopping
fucking-
it up with them.
it's
It's
awesome,
just,
man.
yeah, it's just a reunion.
It's like a whole week experience. So, that we'll leak it here a little bit, but that is our main goal, is to make it a whole week for the industry, from an industry gala where we, there's a lot of contests where it celebrates the weed, but we're going to celebrate the people, right? Like, hey, this is the collab of the year, this is brand of the year, marketing of the year. This is the person that did the most community work. There's a Lifetime Achievement Awards, but we want to celebrate the people in the industry too, right? And make it a full week-long thing, like golf tournament. We already have our Blunts and Birdies golf tournament that we do every year, which is insane, right? So we're going to probably slowly start meshing it all together and make it 1 week, right?
Nice.
Where once you're here as an industry, Monday is the golf tournament, Tuesday you're setting up, show days Wednesday, Thursday, and Wednesday night there's an award ceremony, or Tuesday night there's after parties. I want to create that vibe again, where it's just not like, even after I left action sports and streetwear, I would still go to Agenda.
Yeah,
I have to spend
for
the week
sure.
in Vegas with the boys, right? And the homies, dude. Like, see all the friendships I built from like my Japanese distributor, my Canadian guy, dude, we had great times. I miss those boys.
Yeah, where can you like have the density of all your homies all your colleagues in one place? Like you could just do a one-stop shop and everybody gets to kick it. Like at Hall of Flowers, like everybody's in the little downtown square in Santa Rosa. There's only 4 restaurants.
Yeah.
So like you and your homies go eat here, and then that table of like 12 is like the Ross and Tech people, and then the other homies are at the bar, and then you look around and it's like the takeover.
Oh, it's great.
And
And
it's like the best.
That's like the
Yeah.
what we're trying to build for the week of network, right?
And I feel like people love it. Like the people in the restaurants, like once they see it, and they're like, "What the fuck? These are all weed
Yeah, for
people,"
real.
and they're like, "Oh, this
Yeah.
is cool." And then it kind of like, it's actually like a great example for the cannabis community or industry for people to experience firsthand, who are like in the restaurant or like working at the restaurants or whatever. They're just like, "Yo, I didn't realize it was like this."
Yeah.
Everybody's putting fucking eighths and pre-rolls in the server's pockets, the bouncer, and everybody's like, "Yo, cannabis industry's sick."
Oh yeah, like fuck, dude. I know, like back then, like before the trade show starts, the 2 weeks before, I'm getting all my pre-book orders for weed. Back then, fucking like Justin Williams, Ears. This fool,
Shout out
like
Ears.
he would have his whole list of people, and I would just be like, "All right, dude, I'll have it ready for you when the show starts."
Yeah.
And it's just fuck, dude, it's just awesome. Back then, I want to create that vibe. I miss it. That was,
Yeah.
like young childhood and adulthood. Doing all the action sports stuff. Like, those are great memories. And I look back at it too, and it just taught you so much about business.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Let's
Yeah,
talk
for
about
sure,
like the parallels between like action sports, skateboarding, snowboarding, all these activities, and cannabis. Like we always talk about it. We're skaters. Everyone knows we're fucking skateboarders. Like
Yeah.
I know you through that,
Yeah, I would say it's a very small community, right? And even though I think people think weed's big, and skateboarding's big, it's a very small community. You have to be really authentic, right? You got to be really part of the culture. You can't just buy your way in. We saw prime example with Nike with skating, right? I think it was their 3rd try to get this final one through, but it took them actually knowing the culture, right?
Yeah. The
I
third
mean,
time they came out, they
got the
knew-
right people.
They
Yeah.
knew not to get the superstars.
Yeah.
Like,
Get
the,
let's
like,
get the
core
core
dudes,
Chet
yeah.
Childress, freaking Richard Mulder, like the not big name dudes, the dudes that the culture respected. And
Yeah.
once they did that, they knew they were going to put P-Rod on in 3 years. But let's run it up with
Yeah.
We'll put
Yeah.
Costin on in
We gotta
5,
earn our
P-Rod
street
on in
cred,
3. But
so they
let's
knew it,
like
right?
put on freaking Peter Hewitt and like these random ass like core dudes.
And I'm 48, so I'm a little older than you boys. And then like, I was back then when I watched skating where it got really corporate, like during the vert skating days. It's like kind of weird. And I think that's where the parallel is with cannabis. If you look at it, where it's starting, right? And we're at that phase where there's like the big corporate guys and the really core guys, and everyone's finding their lane, which is the lanes are there. They're going to be there. They're just finding their lanes, right? And I think it's good. I think it's what's happening right now in the industry, the shake up and everything. It's going to be great. It's going to put out a lot of people in business that aren't doing it correctly. And then it's going to put shine the light on the guys that are, right? Prime example, let's look at indoor cultivators and breeders, right? There's a lot of guys out there white labeling and they're selling commercial indoor. But you're starting to see that trend change where the consumers, like there's that $15 wholesale indoor and the $25 wholesale indoor, right? And they understand the difference and the value of that difference, right? That breeder, that genetics only with him. He grew it. It's out of his facility. You can't get anywhere else. You're starting to see that. It's like boutique little streetwear, right? And then you're starting to see those guys, those brands also realize, fuck being in 1,000 stores, right? I'm going to find the right 50 and I'm going to be there, right? And that's helping them stay afloat. Small, steady, small little skate.
You don't
That's
have
what
to be
everybody
the business.
thinks.
You don't have to be the biggest. You don't
Yeah,
have
it's
to
like
be the
everybody
biggest.
thinks coming in like, oh, I'm gonna get in 1,000 stores. I'm gonna project 50. Like I've seen the craziest decks, bro, of these brands like launching and thinking they're gonna do 30, 50 mil the first year, and like they don't even know how many shops there are. Let alone, okay, say there is 1,000 shops. Not all 1,000 is paying their bills. 300 of them are, if that. You know what I mean? So you're projecting off 1,000, but 700 of those don't even. You know what I mean? So it's
not
like
paying the bill right now.
people are just like so like out of touch with like reality.
Easier
you know?
to tell an investor that.
Yeah.
It's
Which
easy
is
to
not
tell.
wrong either. There is definitely the lane of going big and going to all the stores, but you have to understand the repercussions of that, juggling the cash flow, right? And the marketing, the amount of money and manpower you got to put into supporting that many stores and marketing for that big of a consumer base. It's a lot.
I don't think people understand that aspect either.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like, once you start scaling into hundreds of stores and now you need to do, you know,
Yeah.
PADs and pop-ups and sales and discounts and da-da-da-da, like, it's not easy. Yeah, you got to check all the boxes.
That's why I think working in action sports and watching that's helped me here.
For sure.
Me, my wife, we're the primaries at the company, and people like sometimes think we're crazy just because we're so slow and steady. We don't want to like just, hey, that deal's out there. Let's just take it. No. Like, does it stay within our long-term goal? Is it putting us, like, stretching us too thin? My wife's very good at reeling me back in, because if not, I'm just going to run amok. But, we got to think about those things right now, right? And
You gotta say no. You gotta learn to say no to certain things.
Yeah, I
to
don't
stay
think
on
a
track.
lot of people can say no because they always think that it's going to work out, right?
Or
And
famine mentality, like it's not gonna be there.
Yeah.
So it's like
you got to go slow and steady in this industry.
It's easy to get sidetracked in the
Yeah.
weeds. There's so many new things every day popping up and all these, crazy stuff going on.
But if you
yeah.
want to go fast and big, you can. But you better have the financial power and you better understand the hurdles. And if you can get over them, even better. Because, I said this on First Smoke of the Day was, you need Bud Light for a nice craft beer, right? For them they need to coexist. You can't have one or the other, right?
you need World Industries Flamboy and Wet Willie
Yeah.
to get the kid to buy the first skateboard, and then whenever years later they can buy the girl board, the chocolate board, the FA board, whatever. It's just it needs to exist.
They need to develop their palate.
Like back in the day, it was like let Lowell Farms do their expensive packaging and the cafe and like introduce people to cannabis, you know what I mean, and normalize it a little bit, great packaging and kind of like turn people's heads, and then they go out of business and then all the other brands stay around and then it's like people will look for that and then they'll get educated and they will start searching out better products. So education is like key. We were kind of touching on that earlier. You were touching on that earlier.
And it's hard too. It's, the entry point is, say if you never were a weed smoker and you're just like, yeah, I'm going to start smoking some weed. The entry point is not easy, So it's good, I mean, the cannabis industry is really tough. I mean, we have a distro, a co-packing facility in Santa Ana, And, we also have to do the trade show, the golf tournament. We have a security company that focuses just on the cannabis industry, right? Just to make ends meet. And my car still rains inside my car when it rains outside, So it's,
So you got to really be passionate about this shit to be in this industry for a long time.
You got to be passionate about not just the cannabis industry, but you got to be passionate about your people, your community, and like Shay and Mikey here, my partners, they're behind the cameras, right? My partners on network, and they see how we operate at the distro. Shay's there actually at the distro too. He's a partner at the distro, and he runs on the sales floor, right? And dude, it's a grind every day, but it's the best grind I've ever been in, because every day we go to work, it's all friends and family, and we're all rooting for each other, and it's our little team, and it's fucking great. Right?
It's exciting, yeah.
It's fucking awesome, dude. Yeah. And it comes with stress too, and me and my wife stress out all the time about the business because we're affecting so many people that we care about, but that's what also drives us.
For sure.
You take that responsibility.
Yeah.
Kind of going back to what you're saying about like the stress and the responsibility. It's like, if you like problem solving, man, like you have to like problem solving to do this shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You got to be nimble, and you got to be able to just like understand problems are going to be coming down this road that you're traveling on, and you just have to address them and just keep moving forward. And it gets stressful because, like I said, it's just because if you come to our company, at least, it's just all friends and family. We all love each other. It's like, dude, prime example, like Shay's my buddy. Like after we get off work, or sometimes we'll take off a day of work, I'm hanging out with him still. I'll go fishing with him. I go snowboarding with Pat and Ken and Ron. I'll go play golf with Ken, him, Kyle. Like, we all still hang out, right? And we all go to work together, and it's great.
Yeah.
And I'm, like, on a personal level, like, beyond blessed. Like, if you look at my life in segments of, eras of my life, my best friend in every era works with me.
Sick.
Right? And that is fucking
That's
amazing.
a dream.
Their
Bro.
wives work there, and it's like,
That's
it's
the dream.
awesome, right? So, with that little, like, our little home base, we started to realize too, like, we got to start making an impact on this community, our industry. If not, someone else will, and it might not be handled right. Right? And I was having a conversation with one of my friends, and then this is what kind of sparked the trade show too, because I was like, man, we need one, right? We need something like kind of like Agenda back in the day. It's just something like real fucking core, just at the start, It's just connecting brands and retailers, like the right people too in the room. And at this time, I was already retired from producing events. I just couldn't handle emotional roller coasters. So he was like, dude, you're the only person that can do it. And my wife was saying the same thing. So, like, if someone from our industry had to step up, it was going to be me. I had some background. And then, obviously, I ran into Shay and Mikey, proposed the idea to them, and they were obviously like, fuck yeah, we could do this. Right?
Yeah, and they had like the same experience with
Yeah.
Militia and the trade shows, going to the same trade shows you were going, literally the same trade show you were going to back in the day. So it's like, same
And they
mind,
both have fucking phenomenal history in cannabis too. Like, their track record in here is like insane too. They're like me and Shay come from action sports, but we're action sports, but we're always on the weed side on the side too, right? We're just always
It's interesting
doing
how there's
right?
like so many homies from action sports culture in cannabis, and it's
For real.
even our kind of group that we gravitate towards too. There's a lot of dudes that I didn't know.
Streetwear, skating, for
Yeah,
sure.
like Preebs, for example. Like we didn't know each other, but we knew of each other, and we had like dozens of mutual friends. So when we like met in skating, or same with Craig from Talking Trees, like same thing. Or yours, obviously everybody is homie, but like I look around and like we'll be at an event and look around and it's just like all the homies, like Capri, like everybody who has some sort of skate cult, like we're sitting in a group of like 10, and it's just like
it's awesome.
A bunch of old heads with the same background that like we didn't know each other. Some of us didn't know each other, but we all we're cut from the same cloth.
Towards it.
Yeah. That's why it's like partnering with Shay and Mikey on the trade show, right? It's like it's cut from the same cloth. And then like Mikey, dude, if you know him, he's like entrenched in the weed industry for the longest of times, running dispensaries and stuff like that. I mean, he's still currently a buyer for a store here in LA, right? So like us running the distro, the co-packing, and doing all already that in the space, and
Gives you a lot of insight, like
and Mikey's
beforehand.
being a buyer over there and doing his Nothing But Fire event, like, dude, we know the ins and outs of this industry and what the industry needs. That's why we don't charge much for a booth, right? We don't make much money off the show. Everything is just basically trying to build something, build a platform where our industry can survive, right? We can actually connect and build,
For sure.
network and build.
Create value. And
Yeah.
that's kind of going back to what you're saying, where like you guys have so many things that you work on, from Goodfellas to network, like all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
And like it's just hard to survive it just as a brand or just as a distro or something. Like you're providing more value
Yeah.
to the whole community, not just working on your distro. Like there's so many brands. There's only a handful of brands that can just survive being a weed brand, like an Alien Labs or something, you know, somebody
Yeah.
like that, you know, like
Very tough.
very
Yeah.
tough. And it's the same thing. Like everybody looks at influencers or celebrities. Like there's a handful of pro skaters. There's a handful that can do it that way. The way that everybody wants to do it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like the core way and being the fucking dope
Yeah.
brand. But there's only a handful that can do that shit.
Yeah.
So everybody else, like, we have to create value. Like same with us. Like we have our YouTube platform and
Yeah.
our IG. We never make money on this shit. This is just our way to give back and create value and give entertainment and share with people who aren't in LA. Like this is what's cracking. Do it in your
Yeah.
own state, you
Yeah.
know? So it's like you have to have all these arms, because we wish we could. Everybody wishes they could just be that one brand, but it's just so.
It's
so
very
hard.
difficult. So like,
Yeah.
you gotta, you know, obviously all of our businesses touch cannabis, which is cool. So we always joke about it. Like, we can source your flower for you. We can distribute it. We co-pack it, make it come to life. We have a design team in-house too. We have a design company called Good Eye, right? And it does all the printing and stuff like that. So if you come to our facility, it's like buy your bulk, design, packaging, co-pack, and then at that point we palletize it, get it ready for the last mile distributor. So we'll send it off to them. A lot of guys use LBX, right? So we'll send it to LBX, and then there would then get distributed out to the stores, right? So we just do our little segment, but yeah, I mean, we just had to find more, right? Like, so we could do all that, and then we protect your weed. We sell it at the trade show, like all the way to the consumer smokes
the
it,
A to
right?
Z.
We can
Yeah.
we're part of the process at a few steps.
Yeah.
Like we're a micro business, but different.
Yeah, for sure. I want to talk about a little bit, like, for some of the brands that are exhibiting, like, what have you seen some brands do to be successful versus maybe some others haven't been so successful? What are some things that brands could and should be doing at your event to, like, you know, really get the most out of it?
Tell their story, right? Just build out a booth, tell the story, really create that vibe, right? I do notice the guys that put a little bit more into their design of their booth get a little bit more out of it, right? That's the bait to get them on into your booth. Now you got to hook them, and you have to have a show special. It's some type of deal that's only good to the last minute of the show. When that show floor closes, it's done. You don't turn it in, it's not valid. But they have to turn it in. It's such a good deal, they can't say no. And that gets your foot through the door,
For sure.
right? And from there, if you really believe in your brand, you'll be there for a long time. You'll make up the money. So as a brand, don't think about, oh man, my deal is going to put me at a loss. Think about it as it's getting you in the door. And that's the most important.
It's investment.
Look at
It's
the
an
lifetime
investment.
value, yeah, the long
Yeah,
term.
it's an investment.
It's branding.
Right? And you might not lose a lot. Buy one, get one free. You know, you might lose a little bit on it, but do something special, right?
Create the relationship. Get
Yeah.
your product in the door.
Yeah.
And see where it goes from there.
Have your sales team there ready, because buyers do come, owners do come, right? The decision makers come, right? And make sure they're ready to sit down and talk business. Try to seal the deal there, right? And then obviously a lot of bud tenders come too, right? So be able to educate them, get them hyped on your brand, right? And tell that story. What's going to make you different, right? It's just
Yeah.
like other trade shows, dude. There's rows of booths, and you got to figure out how to stick out.
It's really just, it's like like my perspective, it's like energy. It's like I go to so many of these like Champs and MJ BizCon and whatever. There's thousands of booths and like they're spending all this money and there's literally just like one random dude sitting behind the thing on his phone, just like,
Yep.
like why even do all this? You know what I mean? When you could just hire like 2 dope people that are like hustling and like it's gonna make such a huge difference. You know?
So you
Like,
got to build out a booth, have a show special, have the team, the right team there that's hyped and excited to sell, right? And that knows the buyers and right, and then get them into your booth, and it's just, you know, it just naturally happens, right? It's just humans. We sometimes all go stand in line.
Yeah, and
Not
it's just
in-
like create that energy, like Aaron said. There's like so many booths that you go by where it's like human nature to be like, what's going on over here? Why is there all these people over here? Or
Yeah.
you go by like the Cam booth and they have like all the fucking sales homies and they're just like such a vibe and it's just like so much energy and they know everybody and you're like, whoa, there's like a buzz over here.
Yeah.
And you look at the 2 booths to the side and it's just like 1 or 2 people just standing there, but you want to see what's going on at the Cam booth because there's energy going
There's
on.
energy.
You know.
But I think the biggest thing is just be authentic to your brand and who you are as a human. I think in this industry, in this day and age, consumers can see right past if an owner's not really into it, right? You got to be into it. And right now with the start of the cannabis industry just being such like an infant stage, a little toddler still, people can see that. It's easier to expose. It's a small community, like we said, right? Everyone knows each other, right? So it's easy to see when someone's faking it, right?
sure.
Or someone just has money behind them. I think we've all seen some pretty big companies called bankrupt in the last few years, right? In the cannabis space. But internally within the industry, 2 years before they went bankrupt, we all knew they were going there because we all knew we could see their movements. Like, what the fuck are you guys doing, dude? You know,
100%.
For sure.
like Lambos and Ferraris left and right, and
The trade show booth that's just like, who are you and what the
Yeah.
fuck and how did you get this money? And like it does.
They're
It
gone
gets,
6 months
it
later,
gets
yeah.
the attention, but like you said, people who've been here for a while know that that's not sustainable.
yeah.
You know.
I think when that gun started for the rec market, especially in California, and was just being such a huge market before, right? With Prop 2 15 days, we all got blinded by the golden carrot, dude. We all thought it was fuck yeah, Lambos and this and that. That's the way to go. And I think we went that way and everyone got burned, right? And now everyone's like, let's go back to what we used to. We used to root for the underdog and support the homie, right? Let's root
Yeah.
for the underdog and let's support our homie, you know?
Yeah, it's
I
really
think we
going
got back to that.
It's going back to this like 215 vibe, but with like a little more professionalism to
Yeah.
it. You know, it's like how can we kind of like recreate that with the resources and tools that we have through 64? You know.
It's getting more, I think, back then, the Prop 215 days, the transaction wasn't very partnershipal. Like, I don't even know if that's a word, but it was just like, you know, a real quick transaction. Here's product, right? Now it's like that professionalism is coming in, and it's like the professionalism of like how that relationship's gonna work and how that partnership, right? It's just not like here's a product, here's the invoice, fuck you, pay me.
It's like so much more goes into the back end of like pushing it, marketing it, and
Yeah.
that real relationship. Yeah.
So the trade shows, you know, is important for that. It's part of like that growth process. They were like a little nutrient to the plant, right? Just helping it along, and that's all we're here for, right? And that's what, you know, we have our golf tournament. It's the same thing. Our golf tournament is all only industry people. You have to be from the licensed industry, and we're also in our 3rd one coming up.
Yeah, so you guys just did your 2nd one, what, like
Yeah.
2 months ago or something?
Yeah,
and
and
so what was it at the same spot? We did the first one. It was like
Yeah,
the Huntington
Club.
Country Club.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then,
it's just, you know, that's like ironic
It's
THC.
perfect. But it's perfect right
Oh, it's
now, dude.
awesome.
It's so perfect because the like Josh's been into golf for the last couple years. Like I'm
So, like,
back in the
all the
last
homies are
couple
getting into
months.
golf
It's
now,
like
yeah.
it's definitely this wave that comes through every couple years that gets everybody over 30 years old, every man over 30 years old. And
Yep.
I'm definitely
I think
I'm part of this wave for sure. So
No, as you get older, just golf is fun. It's just being outside too.
Yeah.
it's an excuse, right? Where you're just
Yeah.
like, how did it like get this dude outside,
I
you know?
know.
But it's like you're out with the homies, it's like talk business, you know, go hit the ball,
Yeah.
like just
Chill,
get
yeah.
out, and it's just so nice, man.
Yeah, I mean, we had the golf tournament. The golf tournament stemmed from my little Blunts and Birdies golf league, so cannabis golf league. So I'm just getting back into it after the stem cells, but basically it's a monthly outing of just cannabis operators, and we go out and play. Just 40 of us would book 10 times in a row.
Sick.
So
Right.
sick.
And sorry.
Very good.
That's dope. Yeah. That's perfect. Golf is the shit. Aaron's got to get out. Aaron's got to get
know.
some clubs, dude.
Yeah. So like even that is just community building. It's all industry people. We go out, fucking, we're so blessed that industry supports us. The shit sold out in 3 days. I was like, yo, we're having the golf tournament. 3 days later, we're sold out. All the sponsors, all the teams. We're like, okay.
Oh yeah, every dude is just like golf for work. Fucking
Yeah.
mark that on the calendar.
Yeah,
So
find
next
that
year we're
out.
gonna go bigger. You know, we're gonna up the ante for the hole-in-one for charity. We're gonna try to do like maybe $100,000, $200,000 for it or something.
Start practicing.
And then we're gonna
do.
have like
Hartwell,
a
let's go.
full-on spectators and everything on course, and announcers and everything. It's
Let's
gonna be
go.
a thing.
We do spectators.
The goal is to grow it to like a 2-day event where it's 36 holes. You play one day, there's an after party one night, and then you play the next day, and then little award dinner, and you go home.
and it's
right?
all scrambled.
sick.
And it's all weed industry. We
It's
just
like a
all
scramble, best ball. Yeah.
just all get out and just have fun. And I think, dude, you know, like I'm not saying this like there's no shady people in this industry, but there's a lot of fucking solid fucking people, right? Let's just all get out and hang out with each other,
Hit some
dude.
balls around, yeah.
Pretty sure we're gonna figure it out, you know. And you know, when I first started the Blunts and Birdies thing, one of my friends was like, dude, you know you're just giving up all your contacts. Everyone that comes to the little outing are all people you know, and then you mix match everyone. So our monthly thing is you're not a team. You might be homies, but you roll up together, but there's no teams.
Oh, that's
So
that's
I would
cool.
then place you with Shay and then with Mikey,
Everybody
and I
just
try to
kinda
mix
gets to-
match
yeah.
it. So my goal is you don't sit in the golf cart with the guy that you rode in the car with to the golf course, right? I force you to get to know somebody. So I might put a cultivator with a distro with a brand with the retailer, a retailer with the distro, right? Or a manufacturer and stuff like that, right? So let them get to know each other. That's why some people
That's
were
dope.
like,
That's like
sick,
organically,
man.
like just
Yeah.
like plugging in. Yeah, it's dope.
people were like, initially were like, what are you doing? You're just introducing people and they're going to do business without you. Yeah.
That's the point.
It's a right
I didn't-
story.
I
That's
didn't-
the long. That's
yeah.
the long game.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
all long game right
And
there.
that's a blessing for me that I never brokered weed was, I think, because of that. Like I didn't have that mentality. I have to get a cut. I'm more like, connect, dude. You guys are good people, dude. I want to see you guys make money.
The more we all build together,
Yeah.
the more we can all build and the homies can build, like everybody just keep bringing each other up every
Yeah.
step, you know?
And the byproduct of that is, and I didn't even realize this, is when I needed some business thrown my way, fuck, dude, that network of people fucking came to bat for me, right? Prime example, we didn't want to be a distributor. Years ago, we were just a brand management company, right? Helping the brands like cultivators bring their shit to a shelf, right? And helping with the design work, the packaging, managing the sales team. They all actually came to us and asked us to be a distributor. So like we didn't even want to do it, right? And yeah, it's fucking wild. It's like it's just sometimes you just have to do things and you find out the benefit of it later, right? And like I was saying, it's like that community came to bat for us when they're all wanted to be our distributor. They're like, we're gonna front you weed, we're gonna introduce you to everybody, right? Dude, we went from I think 31 brands that we're managing and stuff like that. They're mostly cultivators. They're telling everybody. And I think we've been doing distro for about 4 years, and then we're like 450 farmers that we distro for. It's fucking insane. And it's all word of mouth, and it's, you know, them just supporting us and us trying to support them.
I mean, when you're throwing like a golf tournament with like 100 people and then you have the trade show with all these people, it just, that's the word of mouth right there. You're
Yeah.
creating it, you know, and you don't need to get the point off anything at the moment. But like you said, like that's marketing for Goodfellas right there.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, you know, that's where, you know, business comes from us doing those things, and it's like a byproduct. We're not looking for it, but it's a blessing in disguise. Like those brands, those exhibitors, they're like, oh, you guys make pre-rolls too? Well, you know, I could slide you that business. And wow, you guys are pretty fucking good at making pre-rolls, right? Like, fuck, dude, let me tell my homie.
That's word of mouth is literally the best.
Yeah.
That's like our whole shit.
It's
Is like
the best.
it's like we look our little saying. What it's like planting the seeds or whatever. Like hundreds of events we've done. Like we net same thing. We just connect people, just whatever. And then 3 years later, the bud tender we plugged in is now running this company, or like this dude's doing that or whatever. So
Yeah.
it's just like plant all these seeds, and like over time, it comes back in different ways for sure.
Even just trying to do a good job at anything you do. Like maybe we do a job for this brand, and then the marketing dude fucks with us super hard, but then they stop working with us, and then that person goes to another brand, and then he hires, and he goes to like every brand this person goes to still hires us for all the marketing.
It's very similar to Action Sports, like I had my little brand management agency, and I worked with a few clients, but usually those clients I've worked with a particular homie or somebody, and then if he moved, fuck, there's my new client.
That's it.
Exactly.
Hopefully I can still retain the other ones too, right?
Yeah,
Which is
exactly.
just based off a homie relationship,
Yeah.
but that's the beauty of this industry. Is like, if you really want to make it, and that's I think the beauty of America, right? The American dream is you could start small, and you could get bigger. You can grow, and I think this industry, along with Action Sports, like really shown at least me that you could do it. There's a community. You be authentic, and you do it right, the right way. You
And
can
it's
get
still
there.
so early. I
it's
always
so early.
forget that. I'm always like, you know what I mean? And it's like in reality, it's like this shit ain't even started yet. It's
I
like
know.
barely like, it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
We're in the perfect time.
alcohol's been 70? I don't know. It's been a while,
100
right?
years, almost 90. It was in the 30s. When was prohibition?
Yeah.
I don't fucking know.
It's been around, but it took that long to develop an IPA. So
Who knows? Yeah.
hopefully, weed's a little faster than that.
Yeah, right.
These days to develop that. I think it's just, and that's why I said it's good to have that comparison, right? Between the mass market brand, the big box brand, and the small boutique one. As the bigger box brand gets more shelf space, it puts more shine and more demand for the boutique guy, right? So everyone's going to find their lane, which is awesome.
Yeah.
It's going to be.
Because this is the way our brains think. There's some people that are drawn to the number one top shelf or whatever, and there's some people that want to search out what like the low key best shit is, you know? So it's just human nature, and there's like a space on the shelf for everybody, as long as you're like passionate with this plant.
It's just like traveling for me too, when I travel, I like to go do what the locals do. Like, some people travel and they'll bounce around to like 8 countries in 2 weeks.
Take a photo of the Eiffel Tower and then go to the Coliseum and then, not even like immerse themselves.
I'd rather spend 2 weeks in a small town.
Hell yeah.
Than like, say, somewhere, like
Do what the
spend there
locals do.
and then buy some local weed, hang out with the locals, figure out what's the little
the
mom
real
and pop
vibes,
little
yeah.
good restaurant, right? The real good hole in the wall restaurant where all the, those are the fun things to do, right?
The
And
real
that's
experience.
that's what it's like. Some people are gonna look for that, right? That's what they want. They want to like, oh, who's the hot breeder? Where's it growing? What's the genetics? And there's the guy that's just gonna be like, yo, man, I'm after work. Here's my fucking 20. Give me a 18 pack. I need to go home.
Yep.
And just drink some beer and do what I do, right? Or whatever it is, smoke some weed and do what I do, right? And there's gonna be people just research everything, and everything in between too, right? There's gonna be everybody, and that's what's awesome.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's the niche culture of cannabis. It's gonna have all of that.
Yeah.
You're gonna have everyone in the world, and there's so many nerds in cannabis. We're all like overthinkers. A lot of us use this shit for relaxing. A lot of us use this shit to like as like a stimulant to, maybe get lost and do a little research. There's so many. That's like so many of the cracking YouTube videos that are people like LMC's killing it because he's doing all the background on
Storytelling.
deep storytelling within the culture, and it's cracking.
Yeah,
it's like interesting.
Yeah, I mean,
See
that's
where it
one
goes.
of our goals with Network is to create a platform, but somehow that platform does not lose the culture, the legacy values, and the legacy operators. Somehow save that, because I'm a firm believer, like, people can, if they disagree with me, they can fuck off, right? But these small farmers from Humboldt, Trinity, Mendo, and indoor farmers down here that were doing it early days, that stuck their necks out, they deserve a seat at the table.
100%.
I'm very adamant about that. They deserve a seat at the table for near future and for longer, right? They deserve a seat. And, you know, me, Shay, and Mikey, we want to do something that preserves that, but still bring it to the future, right? Somehow the future is happening, right? We can't stop the clock. It's going to happen. And the industry is going to be a certain way. But can we have our little hand in it to make sure, you know, the certain people that stuck their necks out they're still there in the future? That'd be awesome.
Yeah,
I don't want to read about some people in history books, you know, our cannabis documentary about fucking what happened in Humboldt, which is, you know, in the triangle, it's a shame up there what's going on. It's real, like, for me, it's like real life seeing boom or bust happen. Boom, and now it's a bust town. Like, you used to go into Garberville and it should be hustle and bustle during harvest season, growth season. Distros, brokers, fucking trimmers, everybody, right? Just hustle and bustle. Now it's a fucking ghost town.
Yeah.
Just filled with a handful of crackheads left.
It's like Detroit after like the Motor
automobile.
City. Yeah,
Yeah.
like all that shit.
The automobile industry moved out of Detroit. It's kind of like that, but in a small mountain town, you know, and it's really sad because I've come to know a lot of those guys and they're fucking awesome people. There's some assholes, don't get me wrong. It's just like action sports skating. There's a lot of awesome people. There's a couple assholes. I think in skating is probably a little less assholes. You don't stick around too long, I don't think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but other than that, it's like, you know, we're trying to create something that really preserves that and aids to the future.
Yeah.
in
So
the
what,
right way.
like, what's kind of like the 5-10 year kind of like vision for network?
Yeah. Turn it into a week-long thing. Like, we're talking about, like, in action sports and, like, streetwear, like, Agenda
Magic.
and Magic and stuff,
Go to
right?
Vegas
and
is the whole
SIA and ASR back then, it's like, even when I left, you know, the industry, I would still go back to Agenda just to hang out with the homies.
For sure.
And it was like a big week-long thing. It was just not about the trade show, right? And I'm a firm believer it goes beyond the trade show floor, the whole experience, like who you eat dinner with, the after parties, all that stuff, right? And it creates a whole week. And that's I think our big goal is to turn it into a week-long thing for the industry, right? From the industry gala, where we celebrate the people, the golf tournament, everything's going to hopefully align where we can all do it in a week. And it just makes an awesome week, right? It's just beyond the trade show. The trade shows is the start of it and the root of it all, but there's so much more.
That's funny. Like, me and this fool go to like Vegas, like champs, and like literally be there for 4 days and not even go to the trade show one day. And just be like walking around the casino, like, oh, there's Wonder Bread playing poker over there. There's fucking
just
here's
anything.
like,
Just go to the after
running
parties
into
and-
everyone just like throughout the week or whatever. Like, so yeah, I totally
Yeah.
feel that.
Yeah.
And then it's like you could do the business at the trade show. It's just like develop the relationship at all these
Yeah.
extracurricular activity events. And then once you get to the trade show, it's like, all right, we have all this rapport because we just played 18 holes, because we did this, da 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 da, da, and now we're going to do business. And it's like you see each other and you're like, oh, we just had such a good week. Like,
Yeah,
Let's
it's
break
a
bread.
great week to invest in,
Yeah.
right? And we want to make it like just beyond the trade show floor. That's the root of it all. But that's also a thin line to walk too, because there are other trade shows where the after party is more important than the trade show, right? Just being in town. And that's a thin line to walk. We want to make sure that the trade show has the true value, and all the other stuff is the cherry on top added, right? So it's tough.
For sure.
It is very tough.
Yeah.
I'm like, where do we draw? But you know, that's my event producer brain just working, like, because I've seen it. I've also gone too far and learned my lessons. You know, like as an event producer, that's probably not the smartest.
all
thing
right,
to do.
real quick before we get you out of here, 3 do's and don'ts of event producing.
That's a good one.
That's a good question. Do's and don'ts. 3. Let's start with the don'ts. Don't go too big, right? Build it. Start reasonable small with what your skill sets are and your experience, and then grow your skill sets until you learn. Because in event production, is, kind of similar to the cannabis industry right now. You trip once on a major scale, you're done, right? Don't need no fire fest up in here, right? So shit like that. So I would start small and build. Be authentic and really have passion for it. Don't do things for money. I think that's even outside of event production, just in business in general. If you do things for money, you will never get it. If you do things to make an impact, the money will come. And even if it don't, damn, dude, you feel good at night. You'll die a very happy person because I think you feel fulfilled, at least for me, right? I want to feel fulfilled. I want to make an impact, right? So be passionate about it, don't do it for money. And then understand your demographic, man. I think a lot of people underestimate or overestimate what their demographic is. They're like, yeah, dude, watch, I'm gonna do this, this, and this, and then everyone's just gonna show up. And they don't realize what their competition's doing, and then what really draws people to the industry or to an event. And I've seen that a lot of times from the years of producing event is they're there partying and they're seeing me producing the event. They're like, dude, I'll help you. I want to get into the industry, and they think it's a party. They just think they're only there. They never saw the 6 to 9 months, even a year, 18 months of work prior to it, right? Planning, getting the permits, and doing all that stuff. So they just see it, and then it's tough. Like so, I would say, yeah.
That's good. That's 3 good
Yeah.
do's. What about does? Give us one good don't.
I would say don't. Well, understand B2B and B2C. With that content, I would say for B2C, don't overcharge your exhibitors, your vendors, your food vendors. They are the main draw. That's why people come, right? And if from your performers, your music acts, to your food vendors, to your weed vendors, whoever it may be there, don't overcharge them, right? They draw the people. They also do marketing for you. They spread the word. Hey, I'm doing this event, right? So don't overcharge them. And it's just a nice thing to do. Don't be an asshole, right? Now, B2B, be stern. You got to understand your goals and what you're trying to achieve and stick with it. There's going to be a lot of people yapping in your ear like, let's do this, let's do that. And you got to understand the repercussions of those things, the pros and cons, and stick to your initial values and what your goals were. Don't go astray, because some people are yapping in your ear like, I'll throw you $200,000, let's throw another after party, or let's go bigger, or do this and that. Sometimes it pulls you away from your core values, and you got to just stick to that. And yeah, I would say that's most important. Stick to your core values.
Good,
I never thought about that. Some of those I don't even.
That's fire, yeah.
Dude, they're fucking constant. Dude, like, I'm not hating on our brands trying to ask us to do official after parties. They're always going to ask, but we don't do official after parties, right? We let them do it, let them shine, right? It's not for us to shine anymore. That after hours, when you do your art show as a brand, or you do this small little, you got a rock band playing, or you got a hip hop act playing, or you just have a fucking kegger and a rager or something at your office, and there's just a bunch of brands coming to homie style and hang out, and
High rise.
yeah, well, you guys did, right? They're all these different vibes. It's time for them to shine.
Yeah, they don't need you.
We don't.
Yeah.
we
You
don't-
guys do you. That's
yeah.
cool.
Like, even when I had my brand management agency, we were so behind the radar. Even till today, our distro is really behind the radar. It's like, we're not trying to be out there.
Yeah.
We help a lot of people, but we're not the focus, because we want the light to shine on them, because the more it shines on them, more business it comes back this way.
For sure, yeah.
Long term.
Yeah,
It's all
long term.
long term, man. All right, dude. Well, where can people find information about the network show, Goodfellas, everything that you're working on?
You can go to networkshow.co. That's where you can register for tickets, find information, everything except for the address of the location. You'll get that once you are approved for a ticket. So This event is private. It is for only California cannabis license owners and their staff, right? So it sucks. Regulation won't allow us, the general public, to come. I would love for them to come, but they can't. So register there, you mass apply, and then you get approval. Usually 1 or 2 weeks, you'll get a ticket, right? And then the Goodfellasgroup.com is where you'll find everything else. And then from Goodfellas Group, you'll be able to find Pennyworth, Good Eye, and all of our other.
And when is it?
products.
September 18th? 19th?
September 18th to 19th.
Got it.
So it's coming up, like basically like 5 weeks or so.
Yeah, this will come out
Clock's
probably
ticking.
right before that.
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, it's
Awesome.
coming out pretty quick. It's creeping up fast, dude.
Dude, I know.
We can't wait, dude. I can't wait to see what
And that's
you
what
guys,
also
pull up
other
this
people
year.
don't think, like, yo, man, can you do it twice a year? I'm like,
The weeks just fly by, man.
I really don't want to, man. It already comes pretty quick.
Yeah, for real.
And then I got other businesses that we're trying to run, so it comes
Yeah.
really quick.
Yep.
Trying to juggle it all. But it looks like we're probably going to.
Yeah, eventually.
I think we'll have to. I think
Yeah.
the demand's there, but it's also a struggle like event fairs. When you start doing it, is it too much? Is it not enough? Does it saturate it?
Yeah.
Does it segregate it where it's just NorCal brands and SoCal brands and their operators, and it's not? You start thinking like clusterfuck.
Yeah, start
'Cause
overthinking.
you
it
really
in the
want to
future.
preserve the value of it. You don't want to lose it, dude. I mean, Agenda lost it,
Crazy.
right?
Crazy.
I mean,
Well, as long as you just stay small, that's how we run it up. Just
Yeah,
stay
but
small and take the
that's the
opportunities
challenge,
as
right?
they
You want to
come.
go big, but still
Yeah.
stay
Keep that
small.
core essence. Yeah.
You want to
For
stay
sure.
small, but you want to go big.
Yep.
That's the dilemma in, I think, any business, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Not scaling too fast, right?
Yeah. It's just, even if you scale, just how do you not lose it? Like me and my wife talk about it all the time. It's like, damn, we used to be in a little office like this, and it was like all, first it was in my garage, and then we're in a little office where it's like 6 of us just piled up,
Yep.
smoke so thick, and then we got a bigger office, and then, but somehow we're so like used to being next to each other, we start migrating towards each other again. And then as we get bigger now, and we start expanding, and we're like 11,000 square feet now, it's like, damn, like
Like a real business.
we're starting to lose connection.
Yeah.
And we're like, dude, how do we preserve that? So we do like company outings, lunches, every birthday, everyone gets to choose a restaurant. We buy everybody in the company lunch. We all eat together. Try to do like weekend getaways or book a fat Airbnb, and just staff and their kids and stuff can come and hang out and just barbecue and try to not lose it. It's
Yeah,
tough.
for sure.
It's tough owning a business.
Yeah, you got to keep that connection for sure.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, this has been the American Dream podcast, where Nam explains how to start a business and work with your friends that you've worked with throughout all the years.
Yeah.
So make sure you guys check out the network show. This will come out right before, and maybe we'll have his partner on after the show to talk about how it went. So
Yeah.
make sure to check out Goodfellas. Make sure to check out Network. Do the subscribe. Leave a comment. See who you want on the show, and leave us a like. And we'll see you guys next time.
Thank you, guys.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, dude.
Good shit.
No, you did. Yeah.